Doc made the dumbest possible decision he could have made, and he tweeted about it. And he did not run it by a PR person. He tweeted it himself, and it's very obvious from reading it. And it's a bunch of words, big words, intimidating words. Not gonna read all of it, but the tweet still stands. He's like, hey, I'm addressing the allegations, blah, blah, blah. And then one of the things was, we are live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Drop Shot Call of Duty Podcast, episode number 438. My name is Casey, also known as Razanon. Today, I am very sick, so keep that in mind if I sound weird or look weird, because I have a sty on my eye too, which is super cool. And I'm joined by Tanner also. How's it going, buddy?
Yeah. How's it going?
Yeah. Not great for me, but and not much going on for Call of Duty either. So we do have a couple of announcements. Nothing super major. Just a quick reminder, though. Patron free trials almost out of commission. They're going to last for the rest of June, and then we will be closing free trials. So if you want to try, now is your last chance. So again, we do have a couple announcements and acknowledgements that we will get into at the end of the podcast. So if you want to hear all those, stick around till the end of the show. Now, with that said, let's get right into the patch notes changes already in effect. So since our last episode, we have finally gotten Season 4 Reloaded.
Wow.
And Season 4 Reloaded patch notes, which is just incredible. And a lot more change than I was expecting. Psych. About as much as I expected to change has changed, which is to say not very much at all. And this explains why last week we did not get like a blog post or anything on it, because there wouldn't have been anything to put in a blog post, really. So we're going to go over these patch notes. We're going to start with the multiplayer section. There is not too much new to get into here. A lot of these things we've already kind of talked about or gone over from the original Season 4 blog post and patch notes, but there are a couple new things and some weapon balancing that we will go into more detail on, basically. So, starting with the multiplayer / zombies section here, the patch was yesterday, Wednesday, the 26th. And let's get into it. So we got some new maps. Incline. Okay. Das Gross.
That's that snow map.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Bit Vela, which I want to talk about for a second, and then Get Higher. So, yeah. First of all, Incline, the new snow map. I have been ill. I have not played COD since the update. Haven't had the energy or desire or inclination to do so. So we'll probably talk about this at some point. Maybe by Saturday, I will have played some of it. But I don't know. It's a map for multiplayer. It looked kind of interesting from the screenshots, but not really much else to say there. Das Gross, we saw screenshots of as well. It's just reskin Das House. Big fan of that. Now, Bit Vela 6v6. Visit a pixel art inspired variant of the classic favela in the Bit Party playlist. I have, again, I've not played it, but I saw some screenshots on Twitter, and this looks super cool. It
does, yeah.
It's super cool and cute. It makes the whole map look like a Minecraft.
Yeah, it's dope.
That's what it's called, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Minecraft map. But more interestingly and more surprisingly, it changes the operators to like little Minecraft characters.
Yeah, their like heads look all funny.
Yeah, and
they're
their
made
heads
out of
are all
blocks.
big.
It looks like, yeah.
Yeah.
Bits. Yeah, it's cute. I think the only thing that doesn't change is the gun model. I think that stays the same, but like everything else, the map and the operators, it's all changed. So it looks cool.
It looks very cool.
It's a cute little
And the
idea.
fact, yeah, it's a cute idea. I like it. I'm a big fan of things like that. I wonder how hard that was to do, though. How many resources it took. Because it seems like a lot.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. But either way, I think it's cool. And I'm very surprised it changes how the operators look, too. Like,
Yeah.
that is crazy. But it's cute. You guys should check it out. Just for the visual feast. And then Get Higher. Get High returns with a new course full of obstacles and surprises. Unlock 3 new weapon camos, collect coins, and uncover secrets along the race to the top. How high can you get? So this is like Fall Guys, basically, right?
Yeah, it's a little obstacle course we saw clips of when it first came out. It's fun. Well, I didn't play it, but it looks fun. It's a cool little thing to mess around on if you don't really feel like, sweating and playing COD like normal. This is a nice little mode.
Yeah, this would be a good little hangout mode. We'll probably do that next month if it's still around.
That would be cool if it's in there. I wonder if
Yeah.
it's in private lobbies. I wonder if it was before and we never thought about trying it.
That's a good question, actually. Yeah, I don't know. So, anyway,
I feel like we did think about trying it actually, but maybe we just never looked into it. Yeah, we'll have to try to remember that. That could be cool.
and hopefully it'll still be in when we want to, but we'll see. So, regardless, moving on from there, nothing crazy there. New weapons. So, this is pretty interesting. There's a new shotgun, the Reclaimer 18. We did talk about this before, but I'll just read it again. Tactical shotgun that can be fired in both pump and semi-auto modes. Pump provides better range. Semi-auto provides better fire rate. Unlock it via the battle pass. I saw a little bit of it on Twitter. I was looking at Sparrow's Twitter, and his most recent Twitter clip was him using this and the car. And he was talking about, he was killing people in Warzone in the clip. And he's like, dang, this thing is crazy. So I don't know if that was just bait to go watch his YouTube video on the gun setup.
Yeah.
Or if it's actually good. And if it is good, I don't know in which mode it is good. Which is to say pump or semi-auto. I would imagine semi-auto's better, because if pump is better, that would mean it's one tapping at a decent range, up to 6 meters. And I doubt that's the case in Warzone.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything about this?
I was trying to find a tweet I seen. It's terrible from what I've heard, yeah. The one shotgun guy we follow was trying to say oh, I think it can be really good like this and that. And I saw a Warzone loadout, I think was dude, just stop. The gun sucks. It's not good at all.
Interesting.
So yeah, I doubt it's good. If it was a broken good shotgun, all we would be seeing is clips of it on Twitter. So it's
that's kind of where I'm at.
I'm assuming it's not good.
Yeah. However, shotguns are never popular because using anything hip fire is annoying for most players, because most players are on controller using auto tac sprint, and hip firing with auto tac sprint is really AIDS. So it's possible that it is pretty good, but it's just people don't like using shotguns. As a shotgun connoisseur myself, I will be trying this at some point in both modes in Warzone, and I will report back with my findings. But yeah, so far not looking super promising.
What I remember he said from the tweet, I think he said it's better as a shotgun that you ADS too, which so you're not gonna like it at all. It's kind of defeats the purpose of what you would think a shotgun would be like in an FPS game.
If I have to ADS, it defeats the purpose, yeah. Unless it's one tapping. But I doubt that. So yeah. So regardless, I'll look into it. But that won't be for a while. So maybe next week sometime. So anyways, new aftermarket parts as well. Let's see. The Jack Volk for the KV inhibitor and enforcer will be week 6. So they included 2 aftermarket parts here, even though I thought we were getting 4 more. Or no, maybe not. I don't know, whatever. This is a stock and receiver mod for the inhibitor and enforcer that makes it a 2-round burst with minimal MOA dispersion, meaning very accurate, making every trigger pull count. I don't think this is in the game yet, is it?
I don't think so. This is the one we had talked about when we first read about it, and we were like, yeah, this could be interesting. More than likely, it's going to be absolutely terrible, but it could be interesting if, you know, you can hit like 2 headshots or something. I don't know what the damage would be. I don't know what the MOA is actually going to be, but yeah, it'll probably suck, but
yeah, I'm kind of there.
For multiplayer, it might be really good, actually.
For multiplayer, I think it's going... That's what I was going to say. For multiplayer, it's going to be nasty. Because, if I'm not mistaken, the inhibitor is a 1-shot headshot in multiplayer every time in core. And it's a 2-shot, like, virtually anywhere else. And then I think the KVD Enforcer is a 1-shot headshot, neck, or upper chest in multiplayer. And then a 2-shot anywhere. So, if I'm correct about that, which I'm like 80% sure I am, then having a 2-round burst for both of those would make them really gross. And I find it hard to believe it wouldn't be better than not using that in multiplayer. Unless that aftermarket part disallows a ton of other attachments that make it, like, I don't know, super slow or have like a super small mag or something, which is possible.
Well, what if it just, what if each bullet just does less damage? Because they did that with another aftermarket part.
Yeah.
So it kind of like defeats the whole purpose. Maybe it's just that too.
If they do that, it would in fact defeat the whole purpose, but they've done that a lot with aftermarket parts. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's possible also. So we'll see, but yeah, not really much to say on it now. And however, for you Warzone enjoyers, I would keep this in mind. I think there is a small but realistic possibility that this will be really good on one of those 2 guns in Warzone. I don't think it's super likely, but I think it's possible. So anyway, the Jack Gunslinger is coming also week 7. This is definitely not in game yet. This is for the Basilisk, which is the Magnum, the pistol. A frame and cylinder conversion that allows a revolver to hold 8 rounds of 357 ammo with an exceptional increase to rate of fire in a near instantaneous trigger action. Interesting. So that could, I mean, I don't know what this aftermarket part would disallow for attachments, but like Snake Shot Akimbo, 8-round instant trigger action and exceptionally higher fire rate might be nasty.
Yeah, I'm assuming this would be something close. Like you can't use like Snake Shot with this aftermarket part, but yeah, because if you could do something like that, I could see this ending up as a very broken gun. That's one of those guns they have to nerf after a few days, but it's really hard to say because we never know the specifics until the aftermarket part comes out, pretty much.
Exactly.
So it's like they could all either be really, really good or terrible.
Yep. And a big part of that is not knowing what slots it bars, like you just said. Like, yeah, maybe this disallows you from using ammo types, meaning you can't put on Snake Shot. And then it's already like considerably less attractive. So yeah, either way, we'll keep you guys posted on that. So moving on, some new modes, mutation. Okay. Bit party, kill the enemy to make your head bigger. Kill enemies with big heads to earn more points for your team. That's cute. That's very cool. Kill the enemy
to make your head
and I
bigger.
think that is a part of the new Bitvela map. So is that only on Bitvela then?
I don't know. The clips I've seen have always been on Favela, so I don't know.
It must be, unless they pixelated other maps and just didn't mention it. Yeah. So that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But that's cute. Cute little game mode there. Havoc has all the modifiers, whatever. Headshots only and no melee. and then Blueprint Gunfight, which is probably terrible because weapon blueprints are not designed well.
Yeah.
So moving on from there, we got new events. I'm not going to read all these.
No, nobody cares. Yeah.
But they're the events of the type where you like collect DNA samples and then you're like, you know, getting rewards for that. Basically, if you play a lot, you'll get all of these. It's that simple. So yeah, you guys can.
Oh, this
go
one
look into
sounds
that.
cool. Actually, Vacation Squad. The beach is calling, and the task force is on vacation. Complete event challenges to earn tropical rewards.
Wow.
Maybe we'll get like a little cocktail emblem or something. That'd be cool. Ooh, maybe there will be something in the store. My little operator with like the Hawaiian shirt on and like the dad hat or the little like boonie hat. That could be cute. They won't. But okay, that one kind of sounds fun.
Yeah.
And it's like what we've had. There's pretty much always there is an event going on. I think always, yeah.
Yeah, which I'm fine with, but they're just not super consequential most of the time.
Yeah.
So anyway, there will be a bunch more. Global customization, a lot of words, big words, intimidating words. Grand Mastery calling cards and emblems. Wow. In Season 4 Reloaded, we're introducing new calling cards and emblem rewards for players who've completed a Grand Mastery grind in MW 3. Players who have reached these accomplishments before this update will be granted their respective items in the coming days. The Grand Mastery rewards breakdown is as follows. So in multiplayer, you get a calling card, emblem, and weapon charm. In zombies, you get the same. And then in MW2 zombies, or for MW2 zombies guns, you get the same as well. Okay. So maybe this is cool, but I like the idea of new calling cards and new emblems. And I like the idea of them for a Grand Mastery grind. My question is, what is that? What is a Grand Mastery grind?
I have no idea. I was starting to wonder the same thing. I thought they were going to explain it, and then they haven't.
Yeah, they just didn't do an explain. So
maybe they explained it in like the other blog post that they put out like the day before these patch notes came out, because I never read that at all. So I don't know if they explained it there. But yeah, so hey, Grand Masters, you're getting something. I don't know what you had to do to get your something, but that's cool. Because
like in MW 3, I would imagine it's like doing all of the missions or whatever. Like I don't know what else it really could be. And then maybe on top of that, you have to do like get the zombie camo, maybe. And then you get this new stuff. And then the same for MW 2, I guess I could imagine.
Well, that's what I don't.
For multiplayer, what would that mean? Doing all challenges?
Yeah, so like MW2 Zombies Grand Mastery, it's not like there are MW2 specific zombies challenges. So they're obviously just talking about the MW2 Zombies camos. So besides having the MW2 Zombies Mastery camo, now you also get a calling card? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know.
Because like for multiplayer, I could totally. That's like. That'd be more obvious. It's like if you completed this group of challenges, this group of multiplayer challenges. But like when it comes to MW2 zombies, are there MW2 specific challenges for zombies? I don't think so. Just a weapon camo.
Yeah, who knows?
So this isn't out yet anyways. It even says you'll be granted your respective item in the coming days. So maybe it will be explained more. I don't know at all.
Either way, we'll learn more soon once they get released, yeah. Because then people will realize what they did to get them, and there will probably be some tracker in-game or something. So we will cover those once they unlock to take a look at them, because, well, calling card, emblem, and weapon charm. That's not a great suite of rewards. I would prefer an operator skin or like a weapon camo, but
I mean a calling card's really cool. If it's a cool calling card, that's about the best thing you can get, really.
I think operator skin's the best thing you can get. Yeah. So either way, we'll cover that once we learn more. So because there's no more info here. So moving on from that. Multiplayer UI. Victim calling card is now displayed on the HUD upon killing an enemy in multiplayer. That's actually huge. I feel like this should always be the case.
Certainly
because
should.
Then having your calling card being anything matters a lot more because people will see it a lot more. I want to be able to see other people's calling cards at like every opportunity possible. So if I kill them, if they kill me, if we're waiting in the same lobby together, I want to be able to see their calling card. This is something Tanner and I have talked about a lot with BO4 and what we liked about that game. There were many things, but one of them was I could always see other people's calling cards and emblems and level and all that and more, like customization stuff. And I didn't have to go out of my way to do it. In fact, it was unavoidable that I would see other people's calling cards. Like, you know, and that's cool because that meant other people saw my calling card no matter what. So I cared more about what my calling card was. And I cared more about having like unique or difficult to obtain or good looking calling cards. So this is actually a bigger deal than it sounds like, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I like this.
I wonder if a lot of these little changes too, they're starting to make now because these will be standard in BO6, because I know some of the leakers already talked about that in like the limited gameplay we saw of BO6. At the bottom, when you killed somebody, it would show that person's calling card. So it's like maybe they're just making some of these changes now because we're going to have them soon anyways. So it like, I don't know, it seems more normal when we get a new game. I don't know. Because even like Warzone had a bunch of little random UI changes that I noticed too. Just like very small things, but they just changed a lot up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's possible. I think it's a good change, regardless, but yeah. Okay, let's see.
Oh yeah, Jakin may be right. The Grandmaster where you get like 100 kills with gold, 200 with this, 400 with this. Maybe that's it.
That could
so
be
if you did every single one of those, because that is the thing people always talked about, like, is there a grand reward for it? So that's probably it. So Zombies has those challenges too, I guess, to kill like 100 zombies with the camo equipped or something. I guess that exists. I don't know.
Yeah.
But okay, that's got to be it. I forgot about that.
Yeah, either way, when it comes out, we'll cover it again just to show off what the rewards look like and stuff. So we'll know for sure soon. So next section is bug fixes. There are about a dozen. I'm going to point out a couple important ones. Addressed various issues allowing incompatible attachment combos in the gunsmith. This is good because I think that is annoying, where people were like glitching 60 round mags onto guns that should only have 30 in like ranked Warzone. It's like, okay, man, like, and they were able to do it because they set it up like in a previous patch. Like that bothered me. So I like that a lot. Let's see. And then another one, address an exploit allowing gunsmith attachment limits to be bypassed. That's good as well. Obviously, that's annoying. And then once again, they've said adjusted descriptions and pros and cons for various attachments to more accurately reflect their true statistics. I like that they're keeping up on that. Because it is nice to be able to like trust the gunsmith in game and not necessarily have to go to, you know, sim or true game data to figure things out. And they've been doing not a perfect job in this game, but a pretty good job of that, and certainly a much better job than last year. So, and for historically most of the time. So anyway, moving on, progression. Let me see here. Address an exploit allowing kills without dying challenges to be completed improperly. So if any of you are still on, I don't know if that applies to weapon camo challenges or what, but if it does, that kind of sucks. And then improved tracking of the priceless camo for the nade launcher. And that's pretty much it there. Some map changes, fixing exploits and collision things and all that. All right, so now we're getting into weapon balance. This is for multiplayer, so we're not going to go super in detail here. but I'll briefly mention the Horus was nerfed. And the Car 98 removed hipfire aim assist properties for controller input devices and decreased strength of ADS aim assist properties, which is the important point. We'll get into that when we get to Warzone, for controller input devices. Controller aim assist properties of the car are now aligned with the sniper rifle class. So basically, prior to this update, the Car 98 was getting the same aim assist as like an assault rifle, like an MCW, which is stronger than you would get with like a cat on controller.
Yeah.
Now that is no longer true. The car gets the same aim assist as a cat, which is to say less strong than before.
Yeah.
So that applies to multiplayer and Warzone. We'll talk more about that when we get to Warzone, though, because there were a couple of other changes there. So that's good. By the way, this is really good, especially for multiplayer. This is more noticeable probably in multiplayer.
Oh, for sure.
Because the gunfights are way closer.
Think about like the quick scoping, how good that must have been.
Yeah, how insane that must have been. Yeah. So that's good.
Just so we're clear, though, I'm pretty sure even the OG Car 98 and MW19 and Warzone 1 worked the way it did prior to this nerf, right? I think those.
Correct.
I mean, those had strong
fire
hipfire aim assist. Yeah.
Correct. Yes. Correct. Yeah. That is true. So, anyway, moving on from that, the Lockwood, the Akimbo 1887s were nerfed again. The Karak 300, if you guys remember that, was buffed in multiplayer. Okay. Kind of. I don't know. It was changed. It doesn't matter. Let's see. And that's pretty much it. Some kill streak changes. Not reading. Don't care. And then this is interesting. Ranked play. Unrestricted the MTZ 556 and the Holger 556. So they had mentioned that they might want to do this a while ago. And they've done it. I don't know if this reflects what the CDL does. Did the CDL GA these things insta? Or
I'm not sure what they're doing anymore with that. It's not like the CDL is going to switch to one of these guns or anything anyways. So it's like maybe they're technically unrestricted and ranked, but it's not going to, or in CDL, but it's not going to change anything they do.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Either way, though, if you are a ranked play grinder and you don't care about getting flamed, because you will get flamed if you use things that are GA'd in the CDL in ladder. I did that on purpose in ranked last year, multiplayer.
Yeah, you did do that.
Just to get people real mad. So if you, and which is deeply satisfying and hilarious to me. So if you want to do that, you could use one of these. I think the Holger 556 in particular is very strong in multiplayer, especially compared to what else you're able to use in ranked multiplayer. I think it might be the best AR. So, you know, this might change things up if you're a ladder player. So anyway, there you go. Next section is zombies. So there are new unstable rifts. There you go. They're unpredictable. Whatever. Couple bug fixes. Let's see.
That's it.
That's pretty much it for zombies. Yeah. So you guys got some unstable rifts. That's pretty much it. So,
and that's how you get, there's a new camo going around that's very popular, looks really cool. I don't even know how to explain it. It almost looks like lightning bolts or something on a gun, but I think it goes red, it kind of pulses. It's a cool, another like animated camo. It's really, really dope looking. And you get it by completing an unstable rift. I don't know if it's just like, if you have to complete like an X number of it. I don't know exactly how it works, but I know it's done through the unstable rift. So there's a guide out there on YouTube if you want to do that. But it is a really cool looking camo. So even if you don't normally play zombies, this might be something you want to look into trying to do. It's definitely one of the better looking camos we've had this year. Probably top 5.
So there you go. And then that's it for Season Reloaded for multiplayer and zombies. Not much going on. You know, again, as we kind of expected or ought to have expected. Let's move on to Warzone now. So let's see if we're as bereft here as we are in multiplayer. So new events, or a new event, Altered Strain. The DNA bomb has detonated at the Popov power plant, opening new pathways around the POI and covering the vicinity and a toxic chemical agent. Exercise caution, though the risk of exposure to the green sludge content, much of the vicinity appears to have lessened. Did I read that wrong? Sure didn't.
Exercise caution, though the risk of exposure to the green sludge content much of the vicinity. Okay.
So in much of the vicinity,
Yeah.
I guess they forgot the word in. So I don't know what that means already, by the way. Does that mean you take some damage in the green sludge, but it's not a lot? Do you take none?
I don't know.
Does it go through a gas
I
mask?
went there and I didn't take damage or anything, so I'm not sure. I'll tell you one thing, though. It's not that interesting. I think Popov might... I was only there for a very short period of time, but the areas I went, it's like, okay. They added some green shit on the walls, and that's about it, so...
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
W Season Reloaded update. I don't think it even made Popov better. If anything, maybe it made it worse, but again, I haven't really explored much, so... Very uninteresting, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's... Yeah. So, anyway. We'll talk more about that once we've, like, explored it more. I'll explore it more and kind of talk
Explore
about it. But
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Frog thrust. Anyways, updates to Urzikstan. So, Popov power meltdown.
Oh, no.
Kind of the same thing. A catastrophic explosion has destroyed a large portion of Popov. The gigantic main cooling tower has almost completely collapsed, and the reactor itself is fully ruptured. The devastation extends to a number of surrounding buildings. A new subterranean network of previously unknown tunnels has now become accessible.
Got it.
So,
some more underground parts of the map, yeah.
that's the thing. So, like, Tanner and I, and most Warzone players, I would imagine, have always been very much in favor of map updates that change, like, POIs a lot. And those can be done really well. So, for example, Peak and Caldera was changed, I think, 2 or 3 times since its
Yeah,
inception.
numerous times, yep.
And each time it was like a substantive, meaningful change. And it like changed the way that POI played a lot. And it freshened things up for the whole map because it changed the POI. Or, again, looking at Caldera, adding new POIs. Big fan of that type of map change as well. For example, when we got Factory added, that fundamentally changed how Caldera played. At least for us.
It
because
sure
the loot
did.
there was the best, and it just changed where we dropped every game. So it was like a massively impactful.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the coin, you have map updates or map changes that are not substantive. And what do almost all of them have in common? I've figured it out. It's when they add bullshit underground.
Yeah.
That's a terrible way to update your map. And the reason for that is that if I'm above ground and you're underground, we won't see each other. So it's not going to be a different location where we are fighting because we won't be fighting at all. The only way I'm going to fight in a new updated area of the map when all you've done is add underground areas is if I go to that POI and then also go underground, and then the only people whom I could fight are also going to be people underground. And that is just so much more rare than if you add a whole new POI above ground that people can stumble upon. This is the big problem, I think, with this map update, and many like it. They did this
agree.
a lot on Moz, actually. They like
I
added a
love
bunch of
underground, man. Yeah.
and it's so dumb. It's like, dude, if you add a bunch of stuff underground, I'm either not going there, in which case I'm just seeing fewer people because someone might be underground and I don't even know they're there when I drive past or whatever. Or I do go underground and no one else is there and it's just boring. Like,
It's just for loot. Yeah. There are so many better ways they could do it, and they've done it. They've done, like you mentioned with Caldera, even adding a storage town to Caldera. They added, it was a weird spot they put it in, I'll be honest, but they added a whole POI to an area that had nothing before.
Right.
That's a good map change.
It had a balloon and a buy, so it did change the map. Yeah.
Verdansk exactly. Downtown, when they built up Trump Tower and they changed the buildings down there, that's a good change. Just looking at this image right here, Pop-Off Power, on the right side, how there are things under construction. No, it would be a infinitely better map change. Build that stuff up. All of a sudden we get to Season 4 Reloaded, instead of being like a base of a structure, that's now like a 5-story structure that is still under construction. Adds a bunch of little areas to fight, new rooms, loot, so many other things they can do besides just adding new underground areas. It's boring, they're dirt tunnels, it's uninteresting, it's stupid. There are so many better ways they could do this. At least they changed something, but it's like, okay, this is like the one map update we've gotten in 4.5 seasons, and it's you spray painted the walls green on Pop-Off. Got it. Like, build stuff up. We need to stop going underground for everything. We have to. Yeah. But there are rumors. I don't know if I mentioned it on the pod yet, if it was just in voice or Discord or maybe on Patreon actually. But according to Metaphor, they're adding Superstore in Season 5, he thinks. And Metaphor has been right about every single thing. He said exactly what they were going to nerf with the Car 98 like 4 days before the update, and he was spot on. And we didn't. That was in the Saturday pod, I think. We didn't believe it because we're like, really? Yeah. They were decreasing aim assist? Probably not, but Metaphor is always right. So he's saying Superstore POI from Verdansk is coming. I believe him, so we're probably going to have that. That's going to be a great map change. This is just not.
Yeah. They need to stop with the underground stuff because no one engages with it unless they go out of their way. That's the like biggest problem.
They could have done a bunch with Trump Tower. That's now a hot drop because it's a high value loot zone. Change that, build that up some more, change something with it. I don't know. A lot of ways they could go about it, and they just haven't done it correctly this year. Yeah,
I agree. And it's funny too that you said like this is such a good idea. Like, there are cranes everywhere on this map. You only have cranes to build things. So like the lore, the setting already implies that like buildings are under construction. If you're going to change the map, why don't you just logically extend that and take the cranes out because the things are built now, and now you have built things instead of cranes.
Yeah.
That would be like big and interesting, but no. They don't.
Yeah,
do that.
Yeah. What was the other area I was just thinking of? Like the area of like cargo. They could literally change that. Stack up the frickin' the cargo sea cans, whatever those things are called, in different areas. Make a higher stack than before. Remove a row of them. Like, just change little things like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Instead, like, imagine how much different the fights at Cargo would be if they changed the whole layout of all of those. And it goes along with some lore. It's like, oh, there are different shipping containers coming in and whatever. Or even one of the shipping containers fell over and it crushed all these, and now it's like on its side. I don't know. Just stop going underground with it. Please stop. We don't need more tunnels.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to go underground.
Yeah. It's just the worst way to extend a map. Or change it. And another thing too I'll mention is that another great thing you can do when you're making map changes, if you want to freshen up your map, is make big substantive changes like we've been talking about right now, and also do it in POIs that are unpopular. That's why I also don't like them changing Pop-Off, because people go Pop-Off a lot. Pop-Off already gets a lot of foot traffic. Why don't you make these changes to like Seaport or Levin Resort or Hadika Farms where no one plays? What if you changed farms in some massive way and like made that a high value loot zone like Trump Tower? And now all of a sudden you have people going to a POI, an area of the map that they really didn't go to before. That would be cool too. And that would help a lot in freshening up the map, because it's kind of a 2-for-1. You get more bang for your buck if you make an interesting map change at an unpopular POI, because now players are going to an area of the map that they don't normally go to. So it's already kind of fresh, even if you had changed the POI. But if you don't change the POI, no one's going to go there. So you do change the POI. So number one, it's fresh because you're playing in a new location. And number two, it's fresh because the POI has changed.
Yeah.
You get more bang for your buck that way. That would be
Warzone.
great too.
Yeah.
But instead they changed like one of the very popular POIs, Pop-Off Power. And it's like we were already going there. So like in some sense it's kind of good for that reason, but in another I think it's lacking.
I don't necessarily agree with that, because if they change, like, what is the northwest corner of the map called above Levin? What is that area called? I can't even think of
it's not named on my screenshot here with all the names.
Okay. That area, see, like, even if they change that, I still feel like that wouldn't be a popular area because the circle rarely pulls up there anyway. So I get
That's
like changing.
Corner, so
I get like
Seaport
changing.
or farms.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's why we were kind of wondering like where they would put cargo, or where they would put what's
Super?
it called? Yeah, Super. And I don't know. I don't even really know where they would put it. You would think somewhere like almost on like the edge of downtown, maybe like heading towards cargo, where like
there's room
I don't
at
know.
farms, I think.
Well, there are rooms a lot of places, yeah, but it's like, are they just going to put a superstore at farms? Because they're trying to think of like what makes sense to, which is why I'm thinking like the outskirts of downtown, maybe like heading towards cargo. I don't know, but anyways.
Yeah, anyway, we'll see.
Stop making tunnels.
Yeah, stop making tunnels. So moving on from that, modes, new and limited time. Mutation Resurgence. So this Resurgent variant removes all tacticals and lethals from ground loot, allowing you to focus on gathering and enhancing your operator's DNA to discover a multitude of mutations.
Give me your DNA.
And there are a bunch of mutations that you can loot. Bioshield, Dive Bomb, Mutant Leap, Toxic Stim Cloud, Sludge Sling, okay, Mutant Cloak, and Mutant Vision. So this is a reskinned version of Warzone LTMs we've seen many times, where you run around, you pick up a power-up, and you can see through walls.
So this one really sucks, though,
example.
because of this one right here, Mutant Cloak. Turn partially invisible for a short time, you will leave green footprints. Let me tell you, when they say partially invisible, you can't see him. You can't really see him at all. So my experience with this was I landed Popov, you know, where it is. I started figuring out how the power-ups work. I found like 2 of them. You get it, and then you have to press a button, and it like shows on the HUD which button to press to use that power-up. So I hadn't used mine yet. I'm like chasing a guy. I hear him. He like goes around the corner, and then I'm still hearing the footsteps. I'm like, wow, these footsteps are loud. Like, he must be below me. No. He was in front of me 3 feet away, and I just couldn't see him, and he shot me, and I immediately backed out. I said, oh, okay, people can be invisible in this LTM. I will never queue for this again, and that was the end of it. So
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because it sounds really fun aside from the fact that people can go invisible.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
Not ever playing that in an FPS game. I want to see people. I don't want them to be invisible. So it's a real shame, because like the mutant leap, like the charge jump, sounds really, really cool. Dive bomb, you rocket into the air, dive towards a target on impact. Enemies are damaged and tossed back. Sounds dope. Why do we have to make people invisible, though? It ruins it entirely for me. So I won't be playing it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really unfortunate.
Yeah. I never liked these modes in the first place, to be fair, but that does sound extra toxic, is like being invisible in an FPS game. Okay. So anyway, yeah, this takes place, as Tanner said, an Urzikstan POI Pop-Off Power. So it's like mini Resurgence on that.
Correct,
It's not like on Rebirth Island or anything. So you can go play
and
that
it's
if
like
you
normal
want.
Resurgence. You don't start with the loadout or anything, so yeah. That's cool.
There you go. Okay, so moving on from there, they posted the playlist update for this week. Doesn't matter. And then moving on from there, gameplay. Urzikstan, all modes. So Specialist is now on Urzikstan. These can be acquired via bunkers now as well. Because you've been able to buy Specialist. That's just been the only way to get it on Urzikstan, and it was $30,000.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. So now you can also get it via the bunkers, which I guess is fine. I don't feel very strongly one way or the other.
Yeah, I
about
agree. It's fine. I died to somebody using it yesterday, so.
That must have been fun, yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, I just noticed a little icon, but I'm glad that it's in bunkers. If they're going to add it in and only make it 30K, it's like, why do we even have it? So I like that they did this.
And then redacted weapons. A new set of specially curated weapons are now available on Urzikstan. Head into battle with the upper echelon of weaponry through new redacted weapons found within loot hot zones and bunkers.
Yeah.
These unique weapons feature 8 attachments, which is 3 more than the traditional weapon loadout. So that just makes these loot hot zones arguably, well, not really actually. I was going to say it makes them even better, but it doesn't really, because by the time you find one, you're also going to have enough money for loadout. And I'd rather have my loadout guns than whatever Ted Timmons put 8 attachments on and what attachments he chose, because they probably weren't very good. So
yeah, the only ones I found some of these, the only guns I saw, there was a Holger 5.56 and I believe a DM56. I think those are the 2 that I saw, and they both had, like 3 times the choreo on it.
Right.
They were like extended mags. It's like a good build, but still, it's like, I don't know. I don't really care about getting 3 more attachments when I could just have my guns that are probably still better than those ones. But I like this for really, really early game. If you're landing somewhere that's hot and you are actually fighting a lot, and you can't just buy loadout, or you don't find like a personal box, this is great to have early game. That a gun that's actually really good to use.
Yeah. Great to have,
like
but terrible to lose RNG and face early game just because you didn't happen to find one and he did. So
yeah, but it's not like he's
I
really
don't love
gonna
it.
like kill you much faster most of the time. Like, because if you're in like a loot hot zone, anyways, you're already finding decent guns probably.
That's a good
as it
point.
is, so.
That's true.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
like the idea.
It's fine, whatever. I don't feel very strongly about it. So anyway, so the Reclaimer 18, they mentioned that again. And now we got some weapon balance. So the Ball 27 was buffed a little bit. Tummy multiplier 10%
Okay.
higher. Doesn't really change anything. The MCW was buffed for the 100th time. Minimum damage increased to 24 from 22, and increased velocity 710 to 750. I don't know if this makes it good. Minimum
still not
damage is
good,
the
no.
value you'd want, but it's probably still not very good. Yeah.
And that's what they keep buffing, but it doesn't matter because the gun still to like 50 meters or so sucks. So it's a little bit better at longer range now, but I still don't think it's as fast as most of the other guns. And yeah, it shoots marshmallows until super long range, so it sucks.
Yeah. So okay. Holger 5.56 was buffed a little bit, not crazy. MTZ got some more velocity, 5.56. And then the Jack Patriot aftermarket part for the M16, which is the full auto conversion. Mid damage range was increased by like 5 meters.
Got it.
That doesn't really matter either. So nothing changed with ARs. And that's exactly what we expected, by the way. Tanner and I called it. No long-range weapon will be buffed. If anything, they'll just be nerfed. And that is kind of what it looks like here, basically. So, cool. Moving on to battle rifles, the MTZ 762 was buffed a little bit.
Yeah.
Not in a substantive way, though, I don't think.
I agree.
It just got damage range increases, slight ones.
Yeah, which it needed. A BR having its first damage range at 19 meters is just, it's criminal and crazy. But
Yeah,
anyways,
that is criminal, yeah.
when I first saw this, I was like, oh, dude, they buffed just the straight up damage on it. And I got so excited because I'm like, I was just talking about how I love the MTZ. And then, later I quickly found out they meant damage range. So doesn't really change anything. It's better between 19 and 25 meters now, but the gun just needs more damage if it's going to be meta.
Yeah. So there you go. And then SMGs, see what happened here. So the Horus aftermarket part, the scimitar kit, which I was a big fan of, actually. it really changes that gun a lot. It gives
Yeah.
it a 60 round mag. So it's one of the very few aftermarket parts where you actually don't lose an attachment slot using it. Because if you're not using the aftermarket part, you'd be using an extended mag attachment. If you are using the aftermarket part, you get an extended mag attachment, and it's even more bullets than not using the aftermarket part. So that was like one of the reasons I really liked this. And it also changes a lot how the gun feels. And its time to kill was still quite competitive, actually. It was really fun to use. I really enjoyed it. Wasn't quite as good as the Super E, but it was not very far behind. And I think it did even have some advantages over a Super E. Not that made them worth it, I don't think, but they were, I think, noteworthy nonetheless. I think mainly it had a lot better damage range than the Super E. But I'm not so sure about that. But anyways, it was changed. The max damage range was increased for the aftermarket part. The near mid damage range is increased. And the mid damage range is increased by 0.5 meter. That is pretty interesting, dude. So, if I'm remembering correctly, the only reason you might want to use this over a Super E is if you are, for example, sniping and you want an SMG that you can use up close in like normal SMG range and not get just pooped on, which this absolutely can do. It's not terrible at all up close. But also it has the advantage of longer damage range than pretty much every other option. And it's accurate enough to where you can actually hit shots pretty far away. That's even more true now. I encourage you guys, if you're still sniping, which is absolutely still viable, by the way, we'll get into it, to compare the Super E to the Horus with the aftermarket part on like sim or true game data and evaluate if you might want that. Because your damage ranges are a lot farther than a Super E, I'm almost positive. Especially if you're using the Super E short barrel for the crazy movement speed. Then your damage ranges are definitely way longer. And if you're sniping, I think there's a compelling argument to be made for that being worth doing. And again, it also feels very good to shoot. I really like it, actually. So yeah. I would encourage you guys to check into it because it just got buffed.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Looks good.
Anyway, the Striker was buffed a little bit. Tummy modifier, 10% more damage. That actually, I don't know if that's relevant or not. That actually might be, though. I don't know. I'd have to look
Probably
at numbers, so probably not, though. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
It's the 45 Striker with like a slower fire rate. So I feel like you're performing more accurate. You're shooting more accurate with that than like the Striker 9 with a higher fire rate. So if you're ADSing and shooting at someone, you're probably not often hitting them in the lower torso anyways. Like the Striker 9 with the higher fire rate, I could see that, you know, some bullets hitting different places, but I don't think it matters on a gun like this.
Yeah. Yeah, not a huge change. So anyway. And then the Rival 9 got like a cumulative 1 meter of damage range. So it's still probably terrible. So there you go. LMGs. This is kind of interesting. Raw minimum damage, 1 point up, 27 to 28. Seiken, same thing, 24 to 25 minimum damage. That might be changing a lot. I don't know. I'd have to look at charts. But these are MW2 LMGs, so they're going to be slow and unwieldy. So keep that in mind. But giving the minimum damage 1 more point of damage, that might be like 1 or 2 fewer bullets to kill at long range, which might change the TTK quite a bit. And that might also depend on where you're shooting them, but I wouldn't be terribly surprised if those were on paper anyway competitive now. I also wouldn't be surprised if they were not. Or not, rather. So
I'm assuming
I don't know.
Did nothing, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. The Wrap is another LMG. Its leg modifier was increased by 5%. That almost certainly doesn't matter. And then the HCR, which is the LMG version of the AUG from MW2, which I was a big fan of in its day. got its near mid damage range increased by 2 meters. That certainly doesn't matter. So there you go. And then from there, marksman rifles. Okay. So the Lockwood MW2, the Jack Warden's conversion kit, has slower sprint to fire speed. So if you were still dying to that in your Warzone lobbies, I'm jealous of you. And also you'll die to it less now because the sprint to fire is 70 milliseconds slower, 65. So, okay. And the Kar 98K. Oh boy, what did they do? Here we go. Modified controller aim assist properties to align with the sniper rifle class. Also, max damage range decreased to 55 meters from 63. So with attachments, that probably means your headshot one-shot range used to be, what was it, 88, 89 meters? It's probably closer to 80, 78 now, which is something, but not too crazy. And decreased bullet velocity, 660 to 620. With attachments, again, it's probably still in the neighborhood of about 900. So the velocity change, I think, matters very little. The max damage range change, I think, also matters very little. But the aim assist change, I think, matters a lot. Now, is it still viable? Absolutely. But it's I feel like you are going to die to this gun a lot less often now for two reasons. Number one, when people see that a gun got nerfed, they will just stop using it. They won't even look at like what got nerfed about it. They'll just assume it's bad now because it got nerfed. So they'll just stop using it. I'm one of these people, by the way. If a gun I'm using gets nerfed, even if it's not that big of a nerf, I usually switch off of it because there were probably also like other buffs at the same time. And I just feel like it's like, it's not as good. Whatever. I'll try something else. So for that reason, you'll probably die to fewer cars in your lobbies now because just fewer people are using them because they kind of got scared off. But I think more importantly, you'll die to cars less now because even if that were not true and the same proportion of people were using them in each lobby, you're going to be getting hit far less often at long range because the aim assist is a lot less strong than it used to be. So again, when we were talking about multiplayer, the car used to have the same aim assist as an AR. So when you would, on controller, use a car with like the 8x scope, and you would see me across the river from Cargo at Old Town, and I'm 200 meters away, and you would aim at me. Once your reticle's like on me, okay, you're going to hit a shot. You're probably not going to headshot me, but you're probably going to hit me somewhere. And as we went over the last time we talked about the car, it does way too much damage everywhere besides the head.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to hit me somewhere. And when you are rechambering, pulling back the bolt, preparing to shoot me again, with the old aim assist, the AR aim assist, it was very easy, almost brainless, really, to get the reticle to continue to be on me after you're done rechambering and immediately hit a follow-up shot. Because the aim assist was way stronger than like a CAT AMR aim assist was. Now that it has CAT AMR aim assist, it's going to make hitting those follow-up shots after you shoot the gun and your reticle comes off of me, especially if I'm far away, you're not going to just be able to reacquire me automatically like you used to before, because the aim assist was so strong it basically did it for you. Now, once you shoot, the gun has recoil, you're going to be off of my character, and you're going to actually have to do a good amount of work to get recentered on me to hit a second shot. So two things will happen from that. Number one, at long range in this hypothetical scenario, number one, if you're going to hit your second shot on me it's going to take you longer because you're going to have to actually reacquire me yourself by aiming. Whereas before, aim assist was strong enough that you barely had to do that, if at all. And then number two, if you're trying to just shoot at your fire rate, you're just going to miss because you're going to recoil off of me with the first shot. And then while you're rechambering, because the aim assist isn't as strong as it used to be, you're not going to be on my body again with your reticle by the time you pull the trigger again, because now you have sniper aim assist rather than AR aim assist. And then you're going to miss. So in either case, you're not hitting your follow-up shot on me nearly as quickly as you used to. And that, I think, is going to contribute a lot to surviving more, basically, against other people using the car. So that's a good, really good change. Now, is it enough? No. First of all, none of these nerfs matter at all if you're on KBAM. And if you're a good KBAM sniper, then you basically don't care about any of this. Because there are very few times where someone's going to be between 89 and like 79 meters away from you, where you like would have gotten the one shot down and now you don't. That'll happen. It's not going to be very common, so that doesn't really matter. And then the bullet velocity change. I mean, that's going to take maybe an hour or two to get used to the increased travel time. But once you get used to it again, it almost won't matter at all, because there's only 40 meters per second base of a nerf to the velocity. With attachments, who even knows what that disparity is now? I doubt it's very much at all. And I doubt it's even noticeable, honestly. So if you're on KBAM, this gun is exactly the same as it used to be. It's going to be just as easy to use, and it's going to be just as effective. And because the problem is, again, it does too much limb damage. I could just shoot you in the foot at 500 meters twice, and you are downed. It's absurd. And then if we take this example to quads, with 4 people shooting you with cars, I mean, again, if all 4 of them are on KBAM, it's going to feel exactly the same as it used to before. For controller players, it did get noticeably worse, I think.
Especially at range, yeah.
At range especially, because it's going to be harder to hit those follow-up shots, and that is going to be very noticeable. And people on controller in quads shooting at you from far away, you will absolutely notice they are not killing you like they used to before.
Yeah, I mean, I played enough with like Jake and Cope this season, watching them use the Kar 98 when I was dead. And yeah, I can tell you they're going to have a lot more trouble than they were. Yeah, because it's like there was this one instance where Jake knew a guy was on a roof. So he's like aiming at like the edge of the roof line, right? The guy jumps up to peek, and Jake's using a Kar 98, and he's within one shot, you know, down range. So he was probably like 60 meters or something like that. And without having to react, because Jake was aimed at the wall, the guy jumps up and it starts tracking on him, and Jake got a headshot. I'm like, dude, and he didn't even have to move his right analog stick because the guy jumped and he was already in that rotational bubble, and then he's got an easy down. And I was like, see, and I think I even said something. It's like that right there is a prime example of why that's broken, because he had to do nothing, and he just got a one-shot headshot on the guy for doing nothing. So there are certainly a lot of instances. Players that are not really, really, really good are going to do a lot worse. And I noticed just from the few games I played, it's going to take a week or so to kind of figure out where people are at, see how it's actually feeling. But so far, I immediately noticed way less people are using these. And in one gunfight I got in, it was me versus 2 guys with Glint. They were probably terrible, to be fair. This one guy, though, I'm not kidding, was staring at me with Glint for probably 5 straight seconds and could not hit me. Like, before 2 guys looking at me with Glint, I'm downed immediately from the split second I see Glint. So they're missing their shots. I didn't see the kill cam because I didn't die or get down to either of them, but I had no issues getting hit by, downed to the Kar 98 when I played yesterday. So yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, from what I saw, all like the really good controller snipers that were calling for a nerf, they all seem to be happy with this, and they're like, there we go. Like, this gun is that much harder to use now, and people aren't going to get easy free kills with it. So I do think, though, it will need more of a nerf. I think it does need a damage nerf.
It absolutely
because also it's like, okay,
yeah.
So you nerf controller players with it, but the gun's just as good for me, and I thought it was really good. So it definitely needs a damage nerf. It was really stupid to do it this way, in my opinion. I think the aim assist nerf was smart, but also you have to nerf the damage in some way. And nerfing the damage range does nothing, because as we talked about, it's so many other things. It's the rechambering speed. It's the ability to get recentered quickly because of the low recoil. It's the fire rate. It's the reload speed, and they changed none of that. So
yeah.
But
this actually
again,
changes nothing for KBAM, like I swear.
It doesn't matter at all. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's
nothing.
And I'm not in favor of that, to be clear.
No, that's what I'm saying. The gun was way too easy to use.
Yeah, I don't like when they favor one input over another, but it did need that aim assist nerf because it was way too strong. And another thing, by the way, that I didn't think about until just now is this is also going to make it way harder for people on controller to hit you if they are experiencing flinch, which was not a problem before. So I had numerous kill cams where I'm at like 50 meters and I'm shooting a guy full auto, and he just looks at me, ADSs, and I'm dead. Because the gun did not have enough flinch to disengage aim assist. So every single time they flinched, it was like automatically recentering for them. So as soon as they pull the trigger, I'm just dead. But now that it has sniper aim assist, if I'm causing you to flinch off me and get your reticle off me, it's going to stay off me unless you will stop getting shot or recenter it yourself. But recentering yourself while you're continually experiencing flinch is just not possible. So you're not going to be able to just be eating bullets and hit me anyway anymore. Whereas before you actually could, because it had SMG aim assist. So it would constantly recenter while you're flinching. It was almost like flinch didn't matter if you were fairly close. Now it will, and you're not going to just be able to headshot me at 50 meters while I'm full auto dumping you anymore. That's another big change, actually, where the aim assist profile going from AR to sniper is going to be very noticeable. So
yeah,
again, it did need that change, but it also needs damage adjustment. Mainly, it needs to do way less damage to everywhere except upper torso, neck, and head, because you can still two-shot down anyone at any range by shooting them in the foot.
Is that at any range, or is that only within a certain range? I thought the max damage range required 3 shots still.
Maybe. I recall you saying any range when we went over this last time.
Yeah, I don't remember. I can't pull it up because I got the notes up. I would check.
Yeah,
but anyways,
regardless, it needs. That's the next thing it needs, because again, this did nothing for KBAM players using this gun, and it's really good on KBAM, so it's still really good on KBAM. And for very good controller snipers, this also did nothing, because they're going to be able to hit you in the leg twice at whatever range that requires to get a 2-shot down. And keep in mind, we're using examples of like one guy using the gun. It's usually not how it works. Usually you're playing trios or quads.
Yes.
And if they're all using a car, okay, well, I mean, 2 people need to hit you anywhere to get you down. That's like 2 guys taking 1 shot. Yeah. So it's still going to be way too good. It's just you're just going to die less often now to people who have no business killing you, which is a good thing, but it needs a lot more than this for sure. So, anyway. So that's it. And that's really annoying, by the way, because I would love, and this is something else we predicted, is that they would not really buff any long range options and not nerf the car enough or at all. And that's exactly what happens. So if you play on KBAM, for example, or if you're good at sniping, your best option is easily still the Kar 98.
It's just
Easily.
better for you now since they nerfed it on controller, so you're gonna just win more gunfights against it now. So you should be
Yeah.
abusing it. Yeah, it's still definitely too good.
It's like actually more overpowered almost now. Yeah. Well, no, it's not, but it's still really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still easily the best gun. So, and if you're facing people using it, you still have no recourse, just like you used to not before. Your only hope is that they are not very good and you can start causing them to flinch, and that's going to actually matter. Because one thing on KBAM is I can't hit shots with a car if I'm experiencing flinch. It does flinch enough. It's just, it didn't flinch enough. Well, maybe not, but it almost does. Flinch will matter against everyone now because it used to not matter against people on controller and now it does. So it did get less oppressive, even for good players. But anyway, yeah. That's it for weapon balance. And it's a real shame because I would have loved a new long range option. That would have been awesome. Like a full auto gun that can compete. I mean, there was a time where we had the car and the DG58. That was quite good. So you could like use one or the other. Or no, did they nerf it at the same time they launched the car?
I think they did.
I don't know, actually.
No, they nerfed it after because then that's when people started using the Holger and nobody liked the Holger. So yeah, that was
Okay.
after.
Yeah. So.
I think.
Yeah. Just unfortunate we don't have a long range like AR to use really right now. So anyway. Moving on from that, some other balance changes here. The C4 was nerfed again. This time a lot.
A lot. Yeah, I think it's done.
Decreased max damage to 200 down from 275. Outer damage 100 from 137. And then max radius 6.5 meters from 7. So, again, no one was really using this outside of World Series of Warzone. Now, I don't even think it's worth it using in World Series of Warzone. I don't know if those guys have gotten off of it yet, but
I'm sure
will.
They will.
Yeah. So, and then the Mosquito drone damage is no longer dealt to the kill streak owner near an explosion. L.
Yeah,
That gets it in line with every other kill streak, but
yeah.
I think all kill streaks should damage everyone. Hot take. It's cheesy that I can call a mortar strike on a building and send my 3 teammates in and they're just invincible or invulnerable to it. That's really cheesy and dumb. I don't think that should be a feature, but that's not changing anytime soon. So anyway, that doesn't really matter. And then some bug fixes. Fixed an issue causing the Mosquito drone icons to remain on the minimap after they are no longer active. I hope that's real.
We'll see. That's been
because that's been a bug.
That's been a bug since
one.
we got Urzikstan. Yeah. There was one that was on the map for like the first 2 seasons. It might have still been there. It was just always there in Old Town, I think it was.
Oh yeah, so I remember that.
Cool. This like probably
between matches
they probably
too.
didn't actually fix this, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm so used to these icons being bugged that I quite literally ignore them now. I see them and I just assume there's not a mosquito.
Yeah, because I always say that too. And I was like, dude, there's an icon on the map. How are you like always getting hit by these? And he's like, I don't even look because they're bugged. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, that's good if it's actually fixed.
Yeah, that's really good.
Fixed an issue causing players to be sent back to the main menu after finishing a ranked play match. That's a good change. That was annoying me that it did that. I didn't realize it was unintended. So that's
good.
Yeah,
because then you'd have to go back in and hit like Resurgence again and then ranked play Resurgence. I'd have to go through
their Byzantine menus to find ranked play again. Yeah, every single time. It was very annoying. So that's good. Let's see.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh
no, that's not it. Fixed an issue causing the converted SMG BP-50 to use AR ammo instead of SMG ammo. That's actually a huge change. I didn't think they were ever going to do it.
Yeah, that's important.
But there's a conversion kit for the BP-50 that makes it an SMG. And at varying times since its release, it's actually been quite good in Warzone. But I was always turned off to using it because I knew it always used AR ammo. and I don't want to, if I'm using an AR, I don't want my SMG to also use AR ammo. I don't want to have to carry around all that ammo. Now it uses SMG ammo. That's really good. Is this gun still relevant in terms of like TTK and stuff? Probably not compared to the Super E, but once they do some more SMG weapon balance, if they ever do, this might become competitive again, and it using SMG ammo will make it not annoying to have in your loadout. And that's awesome. I really like that. And more importantly, I like the precedent that this sets, because this has been a problem since we have gotten conversion kits for guns, is that it would say like, oh, it converts this AR to an SMG. Like in Caldera, I'm sure we had some of these. But it would still use the same ammo type as pre-conversion, so it like wouldn't matter. Or like a sniper that gets converted to, I don't know, whatever. It needs to change the ammo type if it's going to change how you use it, so that you don't have to like double dip on ammo. I like the precedent that this sets a lot, because that makes using these conversion kits less cumbersome and more intuitive, and that's cool. So that's a good change. W. So anyway, let's move on, and that's pretty much it. That is it, actually, for the patch notes for Warzone. So yeah, again, not really much. I mean, we got an insufficient Kar 98 nerf, though a noticeable one. It's something. It makes playing far less annoying, but still, it's just not enough. We didn't get any buffs of any substance to full auto long range guns, which is a shame. We didn't get a Super E nerf or SMG buffs to bring them in line with the Super E. That's a shame too. So the weapon meta really is not changed at all. We got a new shotgun, which appears to be irrelevant, so that doesn't shake up the meta at all. We got specialist perk and bunkers sometimes, okay. And then we got an LTM that makes players invisible, don't want to play it. And then we got a cosmetic overlay on a POI in Urzikstan that doesn't matter. And then some underground tunnels, which I'll never go to. So overall, did anything change? Not really. My loadout's going to be literally exactly the same as it was before Season 4 Reloaded came out.
Yeah.
Because those guns are still the best, which is the Super E and the Kar. And where I'm going to take my character ain't Popov. Unless they made Popov a high-value loot zone, which would have been smart, but I doubt they did it. I still won't be going there, just like I used to not go there.
Yeah.
At least land there anyway.
Yeah.
So overall, change.
It's
update. Not very good.
Yeah, it's I mean, I wasn't expecting a whole lot, but this is like, it's not a good update. Yeah. If you're looking for content, multiplayer got some cool stuff as usual. They've been getting a lot of good stuff. Like the 8-bit mode, all that stuff's cute. But Warzone Season 4 Reloaded summed up is there is no aim assist on the Kar 98 anymore. That's it. That was the only change that actually had an impact on the game.
I agree. Yeah.
The LTM would probably be actually so much fun if people don't go invisible. A lot of people don't care about that. I'm certainly not playing that personally, though. I'm not playing something where some guy can go invisible in front of me. And somebody said in chat, and I was actually going to ask, I just about guarantee you do get aim assist on invisible players. There's no way they just coded it so when you're invisible, you suddenly lose aim assist. That's the other thing, too. It's like, okay, some guy's not even going to see me. He's going to get aim assist drag on me 5 meters away, and he's just going to... it's just stupid. All of it is stupid. So anyways, yeah, really bad update. Hopefully Season 5 is better.
Yeah, hopefully it is. So, yeah, to be fair, though, multiplayer... This is a Season Reloaded update, to be fair. Mm-hmm. It's not a new season. So, like Tanner said, I am not expecting as much new content as I would if this were a brand new season. So, keeping that in mind, I think this was a decent maybe even good Season Reloaded update for multiplayer, because you did get a lot of new content there.
Yeah.
Those aftermarket parts will actually be relevant in multiplayer probably, so that's cool. The new shotgun is certainly going to be relevant in multiplayer, by the way. I guarantee that thing's going to be good in multiplayer.
I saw a clip and
It's
the
a
guy
shotgun.
said it was terrible. He got a hit marker in pump
Really?
mode from like 3 meters away.
Oh, wow.
So I think
In
it's
semi-auto,
worse
though?
in MP, actually. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was from that
Well,
shotgun
setting
guy.
that aside, you still got a new map. You got the cool reskin maps. You have a cool, neat LTM, 2 of them actually. So for on the multiplayer side of things, I think this was a sufficient update for Season Reloaded standards. And there was some weapon balance. But yeah, again, for Warzone, like not expecting that much new content, but I mean, none of it matters. And we got what I do expect from Season Reloaded for Warzone, more than anything, is big substantive weapon balance changes that shake up the meta. That's what I want. I'm not expecting a Season Reloaded update to drop 8 new guns, 3 new POIs, and a new map. Like I'm it's not a season update. I get it. You guys can't add a bunch of content every single update. That's fine. But you can still really change how the game is played, because it's still a major update. It's, I mean, once every 6 weeks we get Season Reloadeds or seasons. If you can't like make a bunch of new content, which you can't necessarily for Season Reloaded, at least do a lot of weapon balance so that something changes there. Something else becomes viable or relevant, or something that was too good becomes not too good anymore. And we didn't even get that. So for Warzone, we really got nothing. We didn't get weapon balance, so the guns I'm using is not changed. And we didn't get new content, really, except the LTM, which, to be fair, a lot of people will probably enjoy that LTM. People like those LTMs, and good for you. But even if I were to like that, that's the only thing we got. And that's even by Season Reloaded standards, I think just insufficient. And that's to say nothing about zombies, by the way. They got Unstable Rifts. I don't know how much content that is, but it got a paragraph, so I doubt it's much.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So basically, this is a multiplayer update, and that's a shame for everyone else. So, cool.
Yeah.
Anyway. And then we got a tweet from COD Updates as well, the official COD Updates Twitter account, which tweets sometimes, but not always, about their updates.
I tweet often.
Often,
Most of the time.
yeah. So 17 hours ago, they tweeted, so yesterday, on the day of the patch.
So there was an issue
Go
where
ahead, yeah.
the game would constantly freeze like we've had before. Basically, when you like a challenge pop up, like the challenge pop up wasn't visible, the game would freeze. Incredibly, I mean, game breaking would cause you to lose gunfights, obviously, because your whole screen just freezes and you lose your HUD for a split second. It was really bad. It was in the game when I played. Like, I don't know how people are playing this update right now. The servers were lagging. There was that problem. All of it just bad. And luckily they fixed that, though. I'm glad that did not last any longer than a few hours, because that was not fun to play with at all. Yeah. So that's cool. If you played yesterday, you know exactly what it was. Really bad. But yeah, on that, servers were once again abysmal yesterday. And as much as I despise Caps Lock, he's actually right. At this point, I can't believe they haven't like came out and said anything about any of the server instability issues since they increased the player count. It's really bad, and it is not getting better at all. And it's like, when it's something that affects every single person that plays the game, you would think at some point they're going to say something, but they just haven't. It's wild. Like, I was in a random fill, and the server was lagging all over the place, of course. And the guy on my team was like, man, I'm lagging like crazy, dude. Like, are you guys lagging? And we were like, yep. He's like, man, like, this game sucks or something like that. And then he left the match. Like, if that happened to one guy, one casual, he was like level 300 something in one match of 3 that I played in 20 minutes yesterday, how often is that happening to people? They're just getting off the game because of server issues like that. It's wild that I can see them not just simply fixing everything. It's obviously not easy to just fix the server issue problem, because they would have, right? They would have done that. It's just wild they're not even like mentioning it, because it ruins every single player's experience. So that's cool.
Yeah. And Caps Locked, to be clear, deserves no credit, because he was saying there were server issues. He's been saying
4
that
years
every
ago.
day for 2 years about Modern Warfare 3. So a broken clock is right twice a day, as they say. So he's continued to say it until eventually he's become correct. But it's not like he was sounding the alarms and was right about it before everyone else was. He's not the canary in the coal mine. He is just some guy that has been throwing shit at the walls, and eventually, finally, he happened to hit something. So Caps Lock deserves no credit, but his little pet peeve has happened to become an actual problem now. Yeah, and I agree with you on everything you said.
Yeah. Obviously,
it's hard to fix server issues. I get that. Especially for a game of this scope and scale. But B Raven, you guys have been the studio that communicates with us. Well, you used to be, haven't lately. Let's go back to that. Tell us what's going on. Give us a timetable on when you're going to fix it or why it's a problem. And that's kind of all we will want. Because if I understand why it's a problem, and I know that you're aware of the problem, and I know that you're working on the problem, and I know that you're taking the problem seriously, I'm going to be way less annoyed when I crash to my lobby again because of the server sucking. Yeah. I'll think, well, at least they know this is happening and they're trying to fix it, and they actually care because they tweeted about it or whatever. But they don't. Yeah. So we're in a position like we have been many times before with Call of Duty, where we don't know if they're even aware of the issue. I don't know if they even know that the servers are bad right now. I don't know. And that's really frustrating because it's entirely possible they have no idea, so they're not working on it. Or maybe they are and they just haven't said anything, but what am I gonna assume? Obviously the former, and that's the annoying part. So say something at least. Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, that's it for patches and changes already in effect. We do have some news and upcoming changes.
We have some breaking news.
Much,
breaking as of 13 minutes ago. There is some
breaking news. Yeah, tell us about this, man.
Bob Network, a leaker, is saying Verdansk will be delayed from Season 1 of BO6 to sometime during the middle of BO6's life cycle. Wow. He claims Urzikstan will receive gameplay updates and map updates and ranked play with Season 1 of Black Ops 6 to compensate for this delay. Wow.
Interesting.
So if they don't release it on launch, then yeah, it would be probably on March 10th or whenever the Warzone anniversary is. I think it's March 10th.
Yeah, probably right.
Because that would be 5 years, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't care too much about this, to be honest. I mean, if they're actually going to update Urzikstan, even just adding ranked play and having BO6 guns, I won't need to be on the map yet, but I don't know. From a marketing standpoint, I feel like having Verdansk on launch would be a lot better. I don't know what you market if you're not marketing a brand new Battle Royale large map. Where do you draw the hype from?
Tie it to the anniversary, like you said, like to celebrate 5 years.
But I'm saying when Warzone launches with the update in December, where's the hype going to come from? Oh, new guns. Okay.
A terrible integration that's going to be jerry-rigged. Yeah. To be clear, though, we've never gotten official confirmation that Verdansk was planned for Season 1 of BO6. That's just been like the prevailing leak that everyone's kind of assumed is the case. So if we don't get it in Season 1, then it's possible that it was delayed internally, or it's possible that they never even intended on releasing it for season 1, and that's just what people thought. So, like, I don't know. But I'm with you. I don't care too much. And honestly, it might be better this way, because if we were going to get the integration of Omni movement and the new guns and all the attachments they have and a brand new map all on the same day, boy, would that have problems. That's a lot. That's a big bite. And that might have been a bite that they what's the expression? They bit off more than they could chew, that they couldn't chew, you know, all on one day. So if Verdansk is delayed, because that's a big change, obviously, a new map, and again, Omni movement and all the other mechanics, body, taking human shields in Warzone, adding all that and the new guns, and a new map all in the same day, that's a lot. So if they're gonna stagger those, I think that's actually maybe a smart thing even to do, so that they can do one big thing at a time. It be a buggy disaster, which I expect. That's fine. They fix it. They fix the bugs over the 2-4 weeks, whatever. And then once they've fixed all the bugs with Omni movement and the weapon integrations and all that, that's all settled, and then they release Verdansk. I think that might actually even be better. So it really depends actually on when, sometime during mid-life cycle of BO6, when does that mean? Because yeah, if we get it season 2, totally fine. If we get it season 5, like we may or may not get ranked big map Warzone for this game, well, that would be far too late. So depends also on when we would get Verdansk. Yeah.
If we're getting ranked in season 1, we're surely not getting ranked in Urzikstan in this game. Yeah, there's no way.
That's exactly right. So so we'll see what happens there, but they've never again officially said Verdansk is coming at all. So I mean, there is some small possibility we don't get Verdansk at all. I doubt it though. I'm virtually positive we're going to get it at some point during BO6. But yeah, the question now is just when.
Yeah, I just tell you one thing, already thinking about it now, like during the integration, hopping on and just playing Urzikstan still, that would feel terrible. It would feel really, really bad because we haven't had that. Every time we've had a new game, we've had a new map with it. That would not feel like a big, I don't know, that would just feel wrong. It would feel not like it's a new game.
Happened on Verdansk.
Well, we still got a new map. It's when we got Verdansk 84, which everything was quite a bit different for then.
Well.
And then Caldera, and then Al Mazrah, and then Urzikstan. I mean, they also still hyped it up as a new map. So it was like, this is that's what I'm saying. What are they going to hype up and use for marketing? Okay, we get new guns and Omni movement on the same map. Yeah. Nobody's liked for the last year.
It's possible they do like Verdansk 90, or excuse me, Urzikstan 91 or something. Maybe. That's not out of the realm of possibility, because you are right, actually. And that could be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of don't like the idea at all, but I don't know. We'll see if it's even real or not. This could just not even be true at all.
Yeah, so we'll keep you guys posted on this. I'm sure we'll learn a lot more before BO6 even launches. So that's just the latest leak. So thought we would keep you guys posted on that. And that's pretty much it. But there are a couple other things I want to cover quickly. First of all, Infinite Warfare, COD Infinite Warfare on PC has received an update this week to finally fix an issue where matchmaking was not working in multiplayer on PC platforms. It is not clear why it was suddenly fixed now, or it could be a hint about Game Pass Edition in the near future. I super don't care about this, but I know that people like their little jetpack CODs. I've never played Infinite Warfare, but I think this is one of them. And it is weird because if it wasn't working on multiplayer on PC, it probably wasn't working for like a couple of years, and then they suddenly randomly fixed it. That is weird. So So I don't know what that means either. I don't know what the implications for that are either. But maybe something to keep in mind. Maybe this is a part of some crazy marketing ploy for BO6 or something. I doubt that, but who knows? But it's very weird for it to be broken for like 2 years or however long it didn't work for, and then they randomly fix it now. Like, who was asking for this? I don't know. It's just weird. It's a weird thing to happen. So
let's play it, man.
Yeah.
1v1.
And then lastly, we got to talk about this, obviously. Doctor disrespects the age of consent.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. The doctor disrespect situation. So for those of you who don't have an internet connection, I don't know how you're listening to this podcast, but I'll give you a very quick summary of what happened. So back in the day, in 2020, Dr. Disrespect was banned from Twitch, and they like paid out his contract early, and no one knew why. So everyone was like, I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. Doc himself, I think, said he doesn't know why either, but I don't care, blah, 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 whatever. And then he went to YouTube, I think. And then one guy named Slasher, I hate this guy, by the way. He was on Trainwreck's podcast all the time back during the pandemic.
Slasher,
podcast.
the super nerd esports guy, right? That Slasher?
Say again?
The super nerd esports like insider.
I don't know if he's an esports insider, but he's like an insider.
Gaming insider. Okay, yeah, whatever. That's what I meant.
Whatever. Yeah, that guy.
Real weirdo
very
freak.
Annoying.
Disgusting looking, by the way.
He's very like, I don't know. I don't like him. But anyways, whatever. He was, especially at that time in 2020, he was like the insider guy that knew everything or whatever. So no one knew why Doc got banned. And then he made a tweet that is infamous. And he was like, basically it was like, I know why Doc got banned, but I'm not comfortable like saying why. And then everyone was like, you're an idiot. Why would you say this? Blah, blah, blah. So whatever. That happened. That's not actually super relevant to this story, but I don't know. I thought I'd point it out. And sometime this week, I guess, some guy who supposedly used to work at Twitch was like, oh, by the way, the reason Doc got banned from Twitch and his contract canceled is because he was using Twitch's DM feature called the Whisper function to exchange inappropriate messages with a minor on our platform. And we saw that and we banned him because that's bad or whatever. And then everyone was like, whoa, that's crazy, but there's no proof. This is a crazy thing, crazy allegation, blah, blah, blah. And then like some other stuff was trickling out. There was a clip from like 2 months ago from Destiny where Destiny's friend was like, I heard Doc got banned from Twitch because he was texting a minor. So people were like, oh, wow, that's interesting. That's a little more corroboration, but still no evidence, whatever. And then Doc made the dumbest possible decision he could have made. And he tweeted about it. And he did not run it by a PR person. He tweeted it himself. And it's very obvious from reading it. And it's a bunch of words, big words, intimidating words. Not going to read all of it, but the tweet still stands. And you can go read it yourself. And he's like, hey, I'm addressing the allegations, blah, blah, blah. And then one of the things was, so these texts happened in 2017, but they found out about them in 2020. And was I sending messages to a particular or to an individual minor that were teetering on inappropriate? The answer is yes. Does that make me a PDF file? No, it doesn't. And I never had serious intentions. I was only like horsing around or whatever. And then he wrote a bunch of more words, big words, intimidating words, and then that was the end of the tweet. So there was no evidence that he did anything that the guy originally alleged, the texting the minor or whatever. And there wasn't going to be, because if it's a minor, they're not going to release those logs. That's what everyone on Twitter is saying, is like, we will never see the logs of this conversation if one of the parties was in fact underaged. So no one was ever going to see the logs, is what it sounds like. I don't know how that's true, but everyone on Twitter is saying this. So there was no evidence. There wouldn't have been evidence. But he still decided to just admit to it on Twitter. And even worse is he doesn't specify the age of the person. Because a lot of people on Twitter now are saying like, oh, is it that big of a deal for Doc to be like sexting a 17-year-old? First of all, he was 35 years old and married with a kid at the time. So first of all, yes, it's a big deal. If she were 17, does it make him a literal PDF file? I would say no. It would make him a piece of shit and a cheater and a huge creep. A huge creep. But 17 is probably not prepubescent, and that's literally what that word means. I think that's a separate category of even worse person. So I'm not defending this. I'm just saying let's use words correctly. But anyways, the weirdest thing is in the tweet, he doesn't say anything about this person being 17. I don't know where people are getting this from. And that's what a lot of people are saying. There's like one camp of people on Twitter saying like, texting a 17-year-old's not that big of a deal. Those people are dumb. There's another category of people saying texting a 17-year-old is a big deal because he was way older than her and he was married with a kid. So he was like cheating, and it's creepy on top of that, even if he weren't cheating. Those people, I mean, that's like, that's all true, but also, why are you assuming she's 17? And then there's the third camp of people that are saying, wait, no one said they were 17. We have no proof that they were 17. The allegations didn't say they were 17. Doc didn't say they were 17. And if they were 17, you would think Doc would mention that. I certainly would if I were in his position, because saying I was texting an individual 17-year-old things that were bordering on inappropriate sounds a lot better than saying I was texting a minor things that were bordering on inappropriate. That makes me think this person was not 17. And that's really interesting and not great and really weird. So I don't know if the person was 17.
Yeah, nobody
knows. They could have been 16. They could have been 15. They could have been
even
10.
The difference, like
probably not,
all of it is wrong and weird, but the younger you go, of course, it gets
the way worse it gets.
Like
yeah,
somebody
exactly.
The difference between 16 and 17 can be a huge difference. If some person is a week from turning 18, or they were 1 week ago they were 15 and they just turned 16, that is a massive difference in age. So yeah, right. It like either way, because of his age, it's all like he's a freak and a weirdo. But I also wouldn't go as far to say he's the P word unless this girl was like young enough, obviously. But either way, exactly. It's insane. He's a total creep, a weirdo, a freak. It's this apparently happened the same year he was literally cheating on his wife.
2017.
Yeah.
He was wilding in 2017. We're going to get into that.
He was getting crazy. But yeah, so since all of this has happened now, he's been dropped by his gaming studio. He had a skin in like NBA 2K23 or 24. They're removing that. He lost his partnership
no working with him.
49ers. He lost his partnership with Turtle Beach. He does have a skin. He has a body armor in Tarkov, so I wonder if Tarkov's going to get rid of that.
I don't think they care.
That's kind of what I think, but we'll see if they decide to remove it or not. Yeah, because he has a streamer item.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think he might be done. Yeah. And before you get into the last little topic there about all him whiling out, I just saw like another little article too, and it was they were interviewing Ryan Wyatt, who was the head of gaming at YouTube for years, and now he works for Google. But so this Slasher guy talked to him, and he said that this was the reason he never got a YouTube partnership, because back then Twitch employees and journalists investigating the incident told YouTube employees they couldn't talk about what it was about exactly, but they told YouTube employees that it involved inappropriate messages with a minor. And so that's why he never got a partnership with YouTube, because everyone was like, what did this guy do? How he's like one of the biggest streamers in the world. How does YouTube not want to offer him a partnership? And now it all makes sense because they knew about everything, obviously.
Right.
So that's why you never got to deal with anybody else.
Yeah. So there's other speculation that I don't find very interesting about, like, why did the Twitch employee just leak this now? And I guess it's because I saw a theory that typical NDAs are 4 years, and the contract ended in 2020. So that's why he tweeted it now, because the NDA was over. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't really care, but just thought I'd point that out. But yeah, he's lost virtually every professional relationship he has. Like Tanner was mentioning, Turtle Beach, 49ers. The big one is the Midnight Society, which is developing his terrible, which I thought was just his company, but I guess turns out it's not. But he was an executive for that company. He was certainly the biggest name. And the reason anyone knows about it is because of him. Yeah. They were developing a vertical BR or something. And it was going to be like an NFT based game or something. It was going to suck. We talked about it. It would have sucked anyways. But now it's definitely going to suck or not even be made. No one's going to care about this anymore. And it would have been bad even if he were not unattached, which he is now. So that game is dead. That development studio is dead. That game is dead. So if you were excited about that, you shouldn't have been. Wouldn't have mattered. But it's definitely dead now. So keep that in mind. And yeah, that kind of sucks for every employee that works at that studio, by the way.
That game is dead. That game is DOA now.
That's one of the things he said in his tweet is like, oh yeah, we mutually chose to for me to step away because I don't want to impact the 60 employees or whatever that we employ there. It's like, well, you did, whether you're there or not. You've ruined that studio. So that sucks for them. And that also sucks for his wife and his kid, obviously, by the way, or kids. I don't know how many he has, but anyways,
he's got one daughter. Yeah.
On the back of that, there was a lot of other funny Twitter drama because Nick Merckx has been embroiled in controversy lately for his protect the kids rhetoric, where he's been saying basically he's been anti whatever pride stuff and trans stuff because he has a kid now, is what he says, and that he wants to protect kids from being forced to learn about that by public schools, and that should be the job of the parents or whatever. That's kind of been what he's been saying. We talked about this before as well. I think what he had said at the time that we covered it was not that controversial, but it implied to me that he obviously harbors stronger sentiments that he doesn't choose to share. So I don't think he likes gay people or trans people at all.
Yeah, I don't think basically. He does,
yeah. And he's been getting more kind of inflammatory lately with that kind of rhetoric. Nothing super crazy or anything, but it seems pretty obvious to me he is homophobic, which isn't great. But has he actually said anything explicitly homophobic? I don't think so. Probably not. But he probably does feel that way. That's my point. All of that aside, he is was very close friends with Dr. Disrespect. And his big thing was protect the kids. So everyone was like, oh, hey, Nick, if it's all about protect the kids and your boy was predating on a minor. Surely you're going to be against this, right? So then oh, you're either a hypocrite or you're going to have to like torture your friend, basically. So everyone got some schadenfreude from that. So then Nick Merckx finally made a video. He doesn't have a shirt on in the video, and he's like, "Hey, Twitter, whatever. I just can't. I can't condone this. I can't get behind it. Bad Dr. Disrespect." And then he got off. Wasn't very strong criticism in the video, to be clear. Was not as fiery and strong of rhetoric that he has for trans people in the video when it came to his former friend, but he did denounce and condone Dr. Disrespect's behavior after Doc admitted to doing it on Twitter, which was insane to do, and I still don't understand why he did that. Idiot. And then Tim the Tatman is another one of his former very close friends, and a lot of people wanted his opinion as well, because those three were all like really close and friendly and would play games all the time. So then Tim the Tatman followed suit and also made a shirtless Twitter video.
Was he shirtless
I don't know
too?
why. Yes.
They all live in Florida, man. Why would you wear clothes there?
I mean, I don't think it's a big deal, but it is funny because it's like Nick Merckx shirtless outside makes a video about Doc. Tim shirtless outside makes a video about Doc afterward. It was funny, but yeah, it doesn't matter, obviously. And then Tim was stronger in his condemnation, but still not too crazy. He wasn't like, he's a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. But he was like, yeah, I can't support it. I can't condone it. I'm devastated or whatever. And they all pretend Z-Laner did the same thing too, where they pretend like they are like so torn up about it. It's like, okay, dude.
Z-Laner was literally crying.
Z-Laner was what?
He was literally crying. He was like tearing up in his little video.
Yeah, like, okay, relax.
His like struck me as like weird. I don't know. His was kind of an odd video.
Yeah, Z-Laner's was very weird, yeah, but I don't know much about that. But anyways, Tim the Tatman made the video as well, and I don't know, I just thought I would point that out. Mainly because Tim and Nick are like close friends, and they all had like the operator bundles together. So I figured those two, I'm sure every content creator has said something about this, us included now. But Nick and Tim were like that was like the circle or triangle. So I figured I would talk about those two. So anyway, it's all been pretty crazy on Twitter, and it's still, people are talking about it all the time. This is still like ongoing discourse. And then a new fun and exciting tweet hit the TL yesterday or today. This is the craziest one, and it seems to have some legs. So, by the way, keep in mind, Dr. Disrespect was talking to this minor using his twitch.tv/Dr. Disrespect account, which is his official bread and butter account, where he has 1 billion followers, and to which his contract is tied and all of that. He didn't even bother to make an alt account to sext a minor on Twitch. He just did it on main. Really dumb if you're going to do that. If you're going to sext with a minor, whether they're 17 or not, don't do it on your main account at least. Please. Have some plausible deniability, but he didn't. So then we got another tweet, and it is from a trans girl, meaning they were born a male, but they are now, they're trans, they transitioned to being female. And her allegation was that in 2017, the same year the sexting the minor incident happened, he was also sexting her and, according to her, coercing her into doing private cam shows for him so that he would get her a Twitch partnership. And then she did some of these things, and they had this ongoing kind of like sexting relationship. And then eventually he just blocked her without giving her partner. And this is funny for a couple reasons. Number one, she's trans, and Nick does not like trans people, Nick Merckx. So people are now laughing at Nick Merckx for this as well. But also, when you think of Dr. Disrespect, I don't think of someone who's into trans girls. I don't know. That was kind of surprising to me. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just a little shocking.
Well, no, he's made
Especially
tweets about that too, like agreeing with Nick on like the protect the kids stuff. So yeah.
So a little hypocritical too. Yeah, which is pretty interesting. And then also, this girl did have receipts. She has in that tweet a bunch of pretty compelling evidence, it looks like to me. First of all, Doc from his official Twitter account, again, this guy is too dumb to get on an alt. It's just insane. From his official Twitter account, she goes to his account, goes to her DMs with the official account, and shows all of them. They're damning. Is this fakeable? It's possible, I guess.
Yeah, you can fake anything, but it doesn't seem fake to me.
But it certainly appears to be real. And then she also shows logs of her Snapchatting him. Guess what his Snapchat name is? Dr. Disrespect. Why? Use an alt once. So it's just so easy to tie to him. And then someone in the replies to that was like, dude, that is his Snapchat account. I just checked. And it's a screenshot of him going to that handle. Because the handle is something like, I don't know, whatever. Translover87. But then that's the @ for the Snapchat account.
Yeah.
But then the name can be whatever separate from the @ and the name is like Dr. Disrespect. So it was not an alt. And it's just like, wow, this is insane. And now that's the latest development and people are whiling about this on Twitter, which I find deeply amusing, especially if he were in fact like an anti-trans person before. It really makes it funny that he was sexting a trans girl while saying trans people are bad or whatever.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, there were a lot of people saying like, oh, this is like fake, but it's like, I mean, I get that you could fake literally anything, but it was a screen capture, and yeah, she went to Dr. Disrespect's Twitter, like typed in his name to pull up her messages and pulled up the messages and was scrolling through them. It's not like it was screenshots. It was like screen recording, so it seems real to me, but a lot of people aren't talking about it, which like makes me think maybe it is fake. I don't know. Like it doesn't seem like it's being
a lot of people talking about it.
Well, not by like big sources. I haven't seen anyone mention it yet. It's like they're trying to figure out if it's like real.
To be fair,
I saw it like early this morning, so it's been out like a little while, but I don't know. We'll see. And then also something else just came out too. And the Twitch employee, some Twitch employee says, I recall that Dr. Disrespect was made aware of the individual that they were underage during the conversation, to which he indicated this was no problem and continued on. So they said there was no confusion, and he clearly knew they were underage and claimed that was no problem.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah. That was I'm glad you brought that up, because in his tweet where he admits to sending inappropriate messages to a minor, one thing that was weird was that he didn't mention the age of the minor, because if it was 17, like a lot of people think it was, he definitely should have said that. Because again, 17 is... No, even if she were 19, it would be really bad and creepy because he was 35 and married. So it would almost be equally bad, almost. But 17 is less terrible than if they were 16 or 15 or like 14 or something. I don't think it was a literal child. I doubt that strongly. I just don't get that vibe from him. So they were probably like post-pubescent, but still, they could have been like 16 or something. And that makes it, or 15, that makes it way creepier and weirder. So like, not mentioning 17, glaring omission. And then another big question was that everyone had, did he know that they were a minor at the time? And again, if he didn't know that they were a minor at the time, you definitely would have said that, but he didn't. So it implies that, and there's more corroboration, as Tanner just mentioned, that he did know they were underage and still decided to sext them, which makes it so much worse. because you can't be like, oh, well, I thought they were 19, but they lied
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yep.
Like, so that's like really, really bad. So anyways, part of that really big tweet he made, he's like, I'm going to take a vacation, but I'll be back like soon, and I don't care, and I'm not getting canceled. So we'll see if he actually does it. And you know what? By the way, if he does take a vacation for a week or two and then just start streaming again, he will be successful still. A lot of people will hate him. A lot of people will maul on Twitter. But he would still have, and still does have, a ton of fans, and he would still make a ton of money.
Oh,
he would not get brand deals anymore. He would not get any sponsorships anymore. He would not get any contracts with any streaming platforms anymore. But he would still get a ton of like YouTube memberships, donations, super chats, merch sales of his own, all kinds of stuff. So this is a massive financial hit to him. But if he just streams through it, he could still be wildly successful and make a ton of money. He's just never going to be going to events anymore or getting brand deals anymore, probably ever. So we'll see if he actually does it, but he could do it.
But the thing is, there's been talks of him being permanently banned from streaming platforms. So if he gets like banned from everybody, from everywhere, then he might just be screwed. If YouTube decides to permaban him, Kick, that would be the biggest issue. Is if he just literally can't stream anymore. But anyways. Yeah, so...
But he's got such a big fan base, he could, like, stream from his own website only and still probably do
He could figure something out, Or, like, Rumble or one of those places where, like, they don't ban anybody for anything. He could figure it out. But, so, by the way, Charlie Intel mentioned this big map thing. And, breaking, there will be no big map for Warzone this year. Verdansk is now releasing in early 2025, and we have heard similar. Urzikstan will get new updates later this year. This is also most likely why Activision has been saying ranked play for BR is coming later this year to Urzikstan, because that will be the big map still.
Oh, wow.
So, wow. Okay.
They said early 2025?
Yeah,
for Verdansk?
Yeah, which would, like, the 5-year anniversary would make sense.
And I'd be okay with that. Yeah. So, anyway. All right, that's it, boys and girls. Hope you enjoyed. A couple announcements quickly. We got some new patrons. Welcome, Chris D, our new Damascus patron. Very kind of you. King, you're an absolute god, and welcome aboard. And then we got a new Obsidian patron. Bro went from a free trial to Obsidian, by the way. An absolute giga Chad. And he's from Texas, so he's not only American, but he's super American. And his name is the most Texas name you can find. Gunslinger.
Wow.
W, welcome to the Obsidian Yacht God and King. It's great to have you. I think we only have one Obsidian slot left, so if you wanted that, that's what you're going to have to do. Gunslinger and Chris, thank you boys very much. Gunslinger especially, very kind of you. We also got some new free trial members. Again, that's ending in June. Benny, Her JC, Jorge, and Epsbirth Island K.
Got it.
Your new free trials have been acknowledged, and I'm not thanking you unless you convert to being a patron. You guys are freeloaders. Now, on the topic of the Patreon, we just released a behind-the-scenes episode for our Damascus and Obsidian patrons. It was like 2 hours long, and it was very detailed. So if you're interested in the direction of this podcast, how we've been doing behind the scenes, and where we're going in terms of content and strategy and stuff, this is the episode for you. I don't think we've ever gone more into the weeds with all of that kind of stuff than we did last time. So a lot of you guys liked it a lot. Getting an in-depth look behind the curtain, because again, we've never been this detailed before in behind the scenes. And it was really long. So if you are a Damascus patron or Obsidian, you can go listen to that. Or if you want to, you could always become one. And you could even do it at a free trial still for the rest of the month. And then also, we were going to record yesterday our last Patreon episode for this month, but I've been ill. I was even worse yesterday, so I just said I'd rather not do it today. So we're going to record that on Sunday, and that'll come out the same day. So last day of the month, we are going to have a Rebirth strategy guide, and Moose has offered to collaborate on this episode, whom I mentioned in the behind the scenes episode. He's a very good ranked Rebirth player. So that's going to be a good episode. And by Sunday, I should be feeling better. Even if I'm not, we're going to record it anyway, obviously. But that's going to be good because we're going to have input from him as well as from Tanner and I. And that's going to be a fun little episode. So if you're a Rebirth enjoyer, pubs, or ranked, you can go, or you will be able to listen to that. That'll be our last Patreon episode for this month. But yeah, that behind the scenes is up. And there you go.
Yeah, cool.
So anyway, that's it, boys and girls. Stay humble.
Stay humble.